All right, back to it now as we dig in with Don Brown. He's running for Senate in North Carolina. He's been here before, and I enjoy talking to him. Don, welcome back to the program.
Welcome back to you, Steve. Merry Christmas to you and all the Grubers, and I enjoy talking to you as well.
Yeah, well, Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Former JAG officer in the United States Navy, former federal prosecutor. You know your way around a courtroom a little bit. And let's talk about the things that matter most in North Carolina. Let's start with the economy. What's gas selling for there today?
Gas is dropping. We have seen gas down below 250 into 240s. Just across the border in South Carolina, I heard one report that it's under $2, and that is a big deal. You know, the Biden administration said they were going to wage war on oil and gas, and President Trump has deregulated, opened pipelines, and we're seeing a big difference in getting a lot of relief there. So we're very, very grateful for the president's actions and, you know, ending some of this green energy insanity that drove the price of gas through the roof.
You know, the national average is 285. The North Carolina average 270 a gallon, about where it is in Michigan right now. But there are a number of stations, you're right, depending on where they are, that have dropped gas close to $2. Some states, Oklahoma and Texas, lower than $2. And look, at Christmas time, Don, that's when gas prices usually go up. Kind of makes it a bit of a pinch on traveling. Not this year. We're $1 a gallon less than we were a year ago. $1. And look, when I fill my Suburban, 27 and a half gallons of pure pleasure, that makes a difference, right? If you compare it to when we were at $4 and $5 a gallon at the height of the Biden fiasco, I mean, we're talking $50, $80, $100 a tank on a big vehicle like a pickup truck or a Suburban, right?
Hey, listen, I've been traveling all over the state. Bought a brand new Ford Explorer a couple of months ago. Already have 20,000 miles on it. So, I am grateful to see the price of gas drop, baby. Let me tell you. And It's just a matter of common sense. You can't go to war against oil and gas. I mean, the nation is driven on oil and gas. It's not on wind turbines and solar panels. And give me a break. You're gonna put the USS John F. Kennedy and put it sail it across the Mediterranean with solar panels or something?
No.
Nukes and oil and gas. That's what it's all about.
No, I just saw the Trump administration here this week dumped 5 major offshore wind projects in the Northeast. And I read, accurately so, that one natural gas pipeline would replace all the energy produced by all those windmills that are out there killing whales and creating problems with flight patterns and interfering with all sorts of things, and not to mention they're an eyesore, right? So let's get rid of that nonsense. It's time to move on from the Green New Deal hysteria and stupidity to real energy, which is oil, natural gas, coal, whatever, modular nuclear. I agree with that. Let's talk about war. You said war, let's talk about war. I've met a number of families recently who lost children, and I know you have this in North Carolina. You've probably come across some in your travels with your brand new Explorer. Families that have lost loved ones to the scourge of fentanyl and other illegal drugs. And not one that I've talked to give a damn about blowing these drug boats up. In fact, they fully support it. I bet you're finding the same thing. When I look at the Democrats saying, oh, we can't blow up these poor people that are drug runners and drug dealers, do they even consider these angel families, angel moms, and angel dads that are burying their loved ones that won't see that there are people alive today, Don, that won't see midnight, that won't see 2026 because of the scourge of illegal drugs? How important in North Carolina?
Extremely important. To put this in perspective, and I've said this before, we lost more Americans to fentanyl in 1 year than in 10 years to the Vietnam War. That's just 1 year. Fentanyl is a weapon of mass destruction, and the president has a right to protect Americans on the high seas. And as far as this second tap of BS that the Democrats made up, and they made it up only because Pete Hegseth has threatened to call Mark Kelly back to active duty, and he should. But listen, if that boat is bringing in fentanyl or other drugs, and it's still in the water after the first strike, you blow it the hell out of the water. And if some terrorist is hanging on to the side of the boat, well, that terrorist should be blown the hell out of the water too, because that terrorist is bringing in drugs to kill Americans. You know, the former FBI director, Mr. Ray, said a few years ago they found enough fentanyl in one tractor trailer that had come across the Mexican border in Arizona to kill the entire state of Pennsylvania. And people are getting killed. You know, kids are dying, accidental overdose. They don't even know what they're taking. It gets put into other things, and it is an act of war against the United States. And so
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And these products originate in China, and then they're combined into the final product in places like Venezuela and Mexico and then shipped to us. It's poison. Look, people have been listening to me know that I had a friend who lost a 19-year-old son last year, college kid, good kid, smoked a joint on the weekend, didn't know it was laced with fentanyl, and they buried him. What a horrible story. All right, let's continue on with the what's going on with Venezuela. 3 oil tankers so far taken out of the Ghost Fleet. The first one we know had about 1.8 million barrels of oil worth maybe $100 million. 2 more are taken. Donald Trump and this administration are hitting these people where it hurts the most, in the money. They're hitting them in the wallet. They're taking away millions of dollars of illicit funds from drug dealing, from black market oil sales, which are, by the way, strictly forbidden. What do you make of it?
Well, let's remember Venezuela nationalized its oil fields and took American products. And you know, the role of the U.S. government is to protect life, liberty, and property. And so President Trump is on justified grounds to protect American property, and the use of this oil, what it's been fueling, has compounded the problem that we described just earlier. And I commend the administration because the seizure of these tankers are very strategic. They're very surgical. It isn't like it's a full-scale war on Venezuela itself, but it is hitting them in the pocketbook. And there have been billion-dollar arbitrations requiring the government of Venezuela to pay back American companies. And what do we get? Nothing but crickets. So I commend the administration for its very surgical and precise campaign here to try to get some of that money back and to stop the flow of oil into this deadly drug trafficking that we talked about.
All right, the last big topic we can hit this morning before we run out of time, healthcare in America. I like the proposals from the Republicans, health savings accounts, health associations where millions of people can get together and negotiate better rates with United Health or Blue Cross Blue Shield or any other company. It's a path forward that makes sense. Stop sending money straight to the insurance companies. Stop enriching them. You know, 90% of the money that comes from insurance companies for campaigns goes to Democrats. I'm sure you're shocked to hear that, Don. We need to fix this problem, don't we?
We do. The rising tide floats all boats. You got to have more competition in the insurance industry. Obamacare, which is what it is, Obamacare, the Astronomical Cost Act, was a monolithic scam between the Democrat administration and big insurance. And, you know, we ought to have the opportunity to shop our health insurance just like we do with our auto insurance across state lines. In North Carolina, we've got Blue Cross, and that's basically it. I like what the Republicans are thinking. I like the general plan. I think that Obamacare's got to go. We got to have competition in health insurance, and it will speed the delivery of healthcare services and bring costs down. What's happened is a big monopoly between the government and these giant insurance companies. It's got to be busted up so that the medical profession can be more responsive to help the American people.
Amen to that. All right, Don, tell folks where they can find you and get on board with you and learn more about you.
Thank you, Steve. Please go to brownfornc.com. That's brown, FORNC.com. Drop us an email. Drop us a couple $100 here before the end of the year. We need all the money we can get in this campaign. We're fighting against a big money machine, but we're going to win the race. Please go to brownfornc.com and we will correspond. Appreciate you all.
Don Brown, Merry Christmas, my friend.
Merry Christmas to you too, Steve. Thank you so much for all you do.
There you have it. Good man there. These are tough races. They're bruising races. Look, politics is a full contact sport. brownfornc.com. You can find out more. I'm going to take a break and be right back. You can also find out more at stevegruber.com. Send me an email. Tell me what's important in your neck of the woods. Tell me a hot story you want me to cover. stevegruber.com. Send me an email. I'll be right back.
At the Gruber home, we used to